Hello, good morning, children. Hey, what's up? You all right? Okay, that's really fine to know. Anyway, so today we are going to study another poem. It's quite a confused poem. Okay, by you listen or by you read this poem, you will get confused. Okay. Anyway, no problem. I will clarify you that. Okay, don't worry. For that I'm here. Okay. Then also, if you don't understand, you can call me or you can ask me. Okay. So which part you don't understand, I will clarify that part. Okay, anyway, let me try my maximum. So see, look at this person. Do you think do you know who is he, or do you have any idea why I put this picture? This is our poet. Okay, poet John Foster. Okay, this poem is written by John Foster, and he is John Foster. Okay, so look at his grinning. Okay, grin word, that smile. Okay, this is known as grin, and that word is there in poem. Okay, how many of you have read this poem? Okay, anyway, good. So I think you might have understood. Okay, you have got that word. Anyway, let's move to our poem. Size wise, size. When you know that what is size? Okay, tall, short. Okay, anyway, size was means as per the size. Okay. Our teacher, Mr. Little, really tall. Our teacher, Mr. Little, really tall. Means his name is Little. Okay, Mr. Little, and he is really tall. Means his height, he was very tall, and he's twice the size of our helper, Mrs. Small. He's twice the size of our helper, Mrs. Small. Suppose that imagine that helper, her name is Mrs. Small. Okay, her name is Mrs. Small, and her height, just imagine that that is only 3 feet high. Okay, means a dwarf like that. We can say. Okay, anyway, small she is. Okay, with the with the size she is small. Okay, and her height, just imagine that 3 feet. So what is the double of that? 6, then again 12, like that. Okay, 12 feet, like that. Okay, so double. Okay, so he's twice means two double. Okay, so double. Mrs. Small. Then, were you big from when you were little? Were you big when you were little? Sandra asked whom? That Mr. Little. Okay, were you big when you were little? Means when in his childhood he was big or small. Okay, because his name is Little. Okay, so she asked with a fun that where he was big. Okay, in size. Then, I was little when I was little, but I've been big. Okay, so he was little, his name was Little only when he was in childhood also, but he was big in size. Okay, he said with a grin. That did you see that smile? Yes, that is known as grin. Okay, so that kind of smile he said. Then, have you always been small? Sandra asked Mrs. Small. Okay, have you always been small? Means she was always small, like that. Okay, where that? No, said Mrs. Small. She was not always small. I was short before I got married. Okay, I was short before I got married. Means her name. It was short before her marriage. Then I became small. So after the marriage, she became small. Okay, so that her name became small. Her name is Small. So before marriage it was short, and after marriage it became small. So we know that for girls they change name after their marriage, but boys they don't change name. Okay, anyway, but she added, I've always been little. Okay, so her size, it's always little only. Okay, from the childhood also it was little, and now also little. Then, that's the long and short of it, said Mr. Little. Okay, that's the long and short of it. Means example like that. Okay, so he was tall and she was short. Okay, yeah. So I've always been big and little. Means he said that always been big and little. Okay, his size big and his name always little from childhood, and now that when he became teacher also his name is Little only, but his size is big. Okay, at that time also he was big in size, and now also tall. Okay, but I've always been big. Okay, then, but she used to be little and short. She used to be little and short. Okay, and now she is little and small. Okay, so in her childhood she was that size little and her name was short, but now Her size is still little, but her name is small. So her name changed only her size is still same, but only her name changed. But for him, size also didn't change, name also didn't change. That's it. Okay, that's a small poem. Did you understand? It was quite confused. Okay, small, little, like that. Okay, now I think you understood. Anyway, written by John Foster. We saw his picture. Okay, so let's move. How beautifully he smiled. Okay, green. Now let's move to the exercise part. Okay, let's answer. Read the poem very carefully. Say whether these statements are true or false. Mr. Little was very short. Mr. Little was very short. Do you think it is right? Right or wrong? Okay, good. Now, Mr. Little was little when he was little. Mr. Little was little when he was little. True or false? What do you think? Confused. Okay, no problem. I'll give you the answer. Mrs. Small was short before marriage. Mrs. Small was short before marriage. Yes, right. Okay, good. Then Mrs. Small was always tall. Right or wrong? Wrong. Okay, good. Now these are the answers. Mr. Little was very short. False. That statement is false. He was tall. Then Mr. Little was little when he was little. It's true. Okay, he was in his childhood he was little only. His name. Then Mrs. Small was short before her marriage. Okay, her name was short. Okay, after her marriage, small. So that statement is true. Then Mrs. Small was always tall. No, she is little in size. Okay, so that statement is false. Now let's move. Write a short note on each of them. Okay, so look at here. He is Mrs. Little. He is a teacher. He is very tall. Even when he was little, he was always big in size. He is now twice the size of Mrs. Small. Now she is Mrs. Small. She is a helper. Before she got married, her surname was short. After she got married, her surname changed to Small. But in spite of her names, in spite means moreover. Okay, above that, she was always little. Okay, then next dictionary work. This is a homework for you. Okay, that's the homework for you. Dictionary work. Okay. Yes, so you have to find the meaning from the dictionary. If you don't get any word, you can ask me at that time. Okay. Have come a long way, in the long run, a long short, long time no see, so long, to cut a long story short. Okay, so find the meaning of these words. Okay, then next, put on your thinking caps. Okay, put on your thinking caps. Fill in the blanks with the names of animals to make sensible words. Dash S dash 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 ter. What is this? Cat. So scatter. Next, p dash 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 ion. What is this? Donkey? No. 3 letters. Then another name we can call ass. So passion. Then next, what is this? Ox. So boxes. Okay. Then next, lion. You know that. So dandelion. Okay, dandelion. Then bee. You know that. So beach. Then what is that? Mouse? No. 3 letters. Another one, rat. So rattle. Okay, rattle means there is one snake rattle. Okay, so rattlesnake, and that's the end rattle. It moves always. So that is known as rattle. Kind of making sound, sound. Okay, then so answers. Look at the answers. Scatter, passion, boxes, dandelion, beach, rattle. Okay, next. Okay, conjugate of verbs. Continued. Okay, conjugation of verbs. The present tense, the base form of a verb is used like this: I, you, we, they drive an SUV. So I think I already told you that if there is I, we, you, they, where there we have to use do form. Okay, if it's he, she, it, then we have to use does form. Okay, so I drive an SUV, you drive an SUV, we drive an SUV, they drive an SUV. Now she drives an SUV, he drives an SUV, We don't say that it drives, okay. Because only human being drives the vehicles. Nowadays animals also started anyway, but mostly we say that he or she, okay. With third person singular subjects, we add yes or yes to the base form. See, drive plus yes, so drives. So for negative sentences, we write I do not drive an SUV. You do not, don't, short form we can say don't. You don't drive an SUV. We don't drive an SUV. They don't drive an SUV. They don't drive, okay. See, does not, so doesn't we can say in short, okay. So she doesn't drive an SUV. He doesn't drive an SUV. Next, for interrogative sentence, we write do I drive an SUV? Do you drive an SUV? Do we drive an SUV? Then do they drive an SUV? Then next, do I don't drive an not drive an SUV? Then don't I, okay, don't I we can say, okay, don't I. Then don't you drive an SUV? Don't we drive an SUV? Don't they drive an SUV? Next, doesn't, okay, does not, so does not. See here, does she drive an SUV? Does he drive an SUV? Next, not, next negative, okay, so doesn't she drive an SUV? Doesn't he drive an SUV? Okay, understood? No? Like just read it, you will understand, okay. I told that does not doesn't, okay, short form, that's all. Otherwise it's same only, okay. So does she not drive an SUV? So we can say in a short form doesn't, or doesn't he or doesn't she, like that, okay. Next, the past tense form of a verb is used like I drove, okay, past tense of drive, drove, okay. So I drove an SUV, you drove an SUV, we drove an SUV, they drove an SUV, he drove an SUV, she drove an SUV, okay. For he and she also same only, drove, okay, in past tense. Then for negative sentence we write I didn't drive an SUV. Didn't, okay, did not, didn't, okay. I didn't drive an SUV, you didn't drive an SUV, we didn't drive an SUV, she didn't drive an SUV, he didn't drive an SUV. There is also no change, only did not in past for he and she. Then for interrogative sentence we write did I drive an SUV? Did you drive an SUV? Did we drive an SUV? Did they drive an SUV? Did she drive an SUV? Did he drive an SUV? Okay. Then next, didn't I? Didn't. Okay. Short form did not, didn't. Okay. Didn't I drive an SUV? Didn't you drive an SUV? Didn't we drive an SUV? Didn't they drive an SUV? Didn't she drive an SUV? Didn't he drive an SUV? Okay. Next. Now past participle, okay, past participle form, okay, V3 form, okay. V3 form, participle form of verb is never used alone. It is always used with a helping verb. Which are they? Has, have, had form, okay. Yes, so have form. For that B form we say I, we, is, am, are, okay, that all known as B form of verb, auxiliary verb, and this is have form of auxiliary verb. Now I have driven an SUV, you have driven an SUV, we have driven an SUV, they have driven an SUV. Now for singular, has it is, okay, she has driven an SUV, he has driven an SUV. Now past tense, no, okay, wait a minute. Oh, past tense, okay. For past tense, had, okay. So I had driven an SUV, you had driven an SUV, we had driven an SUV, they had driven an SUV, she owned, he also had only, okay. So she had driven an SUV, he had driven an SUV. Next, for negative sentences, till now we have studied about positive. Now negative sentences. How? I haven't, have not, haven't driven an SUV, you haven't driven an SUV, we haven't driven an SUV, they haven't driven an SUV. Now has not, hasn't, she hasn't driven an SUV, he hasn't driven an SUV. For she and he, that present has and have, okay. Sorry, have, singular, okay. Then for plural, have. Next, for interrogative sentences we write have I driven an SUV, have you driven an SUV, have they driven an SUV, question, okay, interrogative means question. Then okay, that much. Now negative, haven't I driven an SUV, haven't you driven an, okay, have not, haven't, okay, haven't you driven an SUV, haven't we driven an SUV, haven't they driven an SUV. Now has and Has for singular and okay singular. So has she driven an SUV? Has he driven an SUV? Now has not, hasn't she driven an SUV? Hasn't he driven an SUV? Okay. So that much. Did you understand? If you have any doubt in that part, you can ask me anytime. So today we finish. We wind up. Wind up means closing. Okay. We wind up our today's section by saying thanks. So thank you. Okay. Thanks again for listening today's section. We will meet tomorrow with another section. Okay, that's grammar part. Okay, so no, that's a story. Yes, a story is there. With that, we will meet tomorrow. Till then, bye bye. Have a great day.